So I'm studying the third point of the Elven Star of the Sun. And the third point is described as the authentic self expressed through love, through harmony, and through beauty. It is what we truly appreciate deep down, the softer, caring side of who we really are. So, one aspect of our being is more vulnerable in love, in relationship with a partner, obviously, perhaps even more obviously in relationship with children, where we're very much more tolerant and accepting and allowing, and our love for our children is much more devoid of requirement, whereas our love for our partner doesn't seem to be entirely selfless, that there's a bit of an exchange going on. So what we're discussing with this third point is the Sufi plane of consciousness, called the plane of love, harmony, and beauty. And it's an interesting teaching because it is said in Sufism that the perfection of love leads to harmony, and the perfection of harmony leads to beauty. So we've got a hierarchy of development there of the same essential energy. I think this is very helpful that when we are experiencing love, there is an agenda on the spiritual side. There is this sense of wanting love to lead to harmony. And if you think about what it is you do when you get in love with a partner, a romantic engagement, you're hoping that this leads to a deeper, greater harmony, and that that harmony gives you a life which is beautiful to live. So we can see the teachings can't work. And for us to be authentic within that kind of relationship is a bigger challenge than any challenge we've met so far, because there's a lot of projection one upon the other in a relationship, one to one, of need. I need you to be this kind of woman. I need you to be this kind of man. And when the kids come, all the more so. So love, which is actually including a projection of need, it's not pure love, is it? It's not unconditional love. It's not the high level spiritual love that seekers aspire towards. It's more pragmatic, more workable, more realistic, actually. So I'm sure each of us has experienced relationship, and even not full on one-to-one sexual relationship to the point of commitment. We do relate to friends and to even animals and so on with this energy of love leading to harmony and aspiring to beauty. How do we bring our authentic selves into that equation? How do we do that? It's a very big challenge indeed. Well, the answer will be given in the third Elven Star point. So if you work out what your sun's Elven Star points are, the third one gives you information about how you are in relationships. So as before, I'll give you mine. My third point is Pisces 25, the purging of the priesthood. And this is all to do with rooting out corruption. This is Henry VIII deciding not to go any longer with the Catholic Church, and noticing that all the Catholic monasteries in his country are stinking rich with gold and silver and enormous amounts of food and land, and he disbands the priesthood and the monasteries and so on, and tries to root out the corruption within this very powerful body, the Catholic Church. That's the story behind this. So it's quite difficult for me to know how that relates to my approach to relationships. And it's difficult for me to come to terms with the fact that actually I do bring that energy into how I relate to people. If people are trying to manipulate situations, to take advantage of me, to be false in their love in some way, that's a deal breaker for me. I have not the capacity to accept that. That's the truth of the matter. And I've tried. I've tried to be in relationship many times, and it always ends because it's just corrupt somehow. And it might not be just the woman, it's probably equal, and I get to understand that only many years later. But I can't handle that which is corrupt. I just won't be there, even to the point where I deny myself the comfort and usefulness of one-to-one relationship because it leads to corruption of myself as much as from the other. So that's my experience, and it's not what other people would want, but it is what I want actually, although I took some time to learn to want it. Because authentically speaking, I won't compromise with anything that's untruthful. It's not I can't or I don't want to. It's just I won't. It's deep within me. If I'm to be an authentic person, it's almost impossible for me to be in relationship because relationship, the way it's structured in today's society, seems to require lies, even on the level of white lies. Do you like this new red dress, darling? No, I don't think it suits you. That's not a permissible statement in so many relationships. You know, what were you doing last night? Well, I actually got drunk and stoned and started flirting with a barmaid. You're not allowed to say that and to expect the relationship to continue. So telling the truth and maintaining one-to-one relationships doesn't seem to work very well in today's world, at least in my experience. So I kind of backed out at some point, quite some time ago. However, that's not to say that I don't experience love, harmony, and beauty. I do, but it's in a different form, especially music, especially dance. And I can feel authenticity or the opposite in someone else's dance, in someone else's song. I can feel whether it's written by a sincere person expressing their authentic feelings. And if it's not that, then I just don't like it. I won't dance it if it's false music. I will only dance music that's being expressed honestly and truly by someone. And that's interesting. And that's a very helpful part of my spiritual development. That actually, the level to which I deny inauthenticity and untruth even goes to that level of beauty. I hate kitsch stuff, stuff that's just trite and copies. I hate it. If somebody just does their best and it's really from the heart, whether it's music or any other form of art, like dancing, I like that. To me, the best creative expression is when somebody's being true about who they are, and truthful self-expression is what I consider beautiful. So that's worth knowing. I didn't know that about myself until I had this to study. But it's true. You know, I found out that that part of me is also um, insisting upon authenticity. So the third point of your Elven Star will be how you relate to love, how you relate to harmony, and how you relate to beauty, and the path towards the experience of those qualities in your truthful self-expression.